Welcome back. This morning, we want to draw your attention to pharmacies. And you may have noticed that maybe small local business pharmacies are not as common as they used to be, right? Well, let's bring in a third generation pharmacist this morning, Basil Noriega, and he is with Bill's Prescription Center, which has been in the family, I understand, for 3 generations. We're going to talk this morning about why that is pretty rare these days and what you and your family and other pharmacists across the nation, the nation and the state are doing to maybe help change that. Good morning. Good to see you, Basil.
Good morning. How are you?
Tell me a little bit. Let's start with the history of your family. And of course, this has got to be why you were so passionate about maybe drawing attention to some change that you say needs to be done.
Definitely. Well, my grandfather started Bill's Prescription Center back in 1956. He used to just trade, things like eggs and poultry for prescriptions back then. And we just functioned out of a little hole in the wall. Then my father also followed in his footsteps, became a pharmacist, and my aunt as well. And now, like you said, third generation, graduated from UF and have been working as a pharmacist now for over 5 years. So
now, I mentioned that we just don't see a lot of locally owned pharmacies as much as we used to. And, explain why that is. What has happened in recent years?
Well, about 10 years ago, you started seeing these companies called pharmacy benefit managers popping up. They sold themselves to insurance companies saying that they could save them money. What they've basically done is they've transformed the healthcare industry as a whole, not just pharmacies, doctors' offices, even medications that people pay for have been inflated in cost just due to the predatory practices of these pharmacy benefit managers. They regulate what the cost is, what goes to doctors' offices, what goes to pharmacies, and pharmacies can't function off of the meager amounts that they're paying them. It's pretty sad to see because every week you see more and more pharmacies closing up around the nation, and our communities are being hurt because of it.
Well, and what is the big, number one, why should people care? And number two, what is the benefit of going to a local family-owned pharmacy?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's a joy to be part of our community, to serve our community as if they're our family, because they're part of our family. You don't find a lot of that in chain pharmacies, where there's this one-to-one connection with the pharmacist, the technicians, and the people that work in the pharmacy with these families that do come in. And we've seen multiple generations of family members come through our pharmacy, and we've helped grandparents and their daughters and sons and their grandchildren, and it's amazing to see that, and you just don't really find that in other chain conglomerates.
Well, and it's interesting that I'm sure that you have talked about this and wanted change for quite some time, but certainly in year 2020, while there is so much focus on healthcare now, this might be the time to really look at this a little bit closer. What are you advocating that people do? What is the kind of change that you want to see?
Really, the biggest thing that's happening with these pharmacy benefit managers is they're functioning outside of the bounds of regulatory industries. So things like the Florida Board of Pharmacy, who would normally look into issues with benefits to a pharmacy, or insuring boards, the boards of insurance that they would normally be regulating those types of things. Neither of them are able to function within the sphere of pharmacy benefit managers. They kind of are their own entity, almost like a mafia. So really the best thing to do is to get in touch with your state, local representatives, senators, and talk about it. It's an issue that's not just affecting brick and mortar buildings, but really the people's healthcare as a whole.
Certainly medications. I mean, I feel like at one point we're all going to be on them. It's not going away. Where can people find out more information and better knowledge about what's going on?
Well, they can contact their local state representatives, and they can also go to sparfl.com.
Okay, we're showing the website there.
Yeah, and that's going to be a great resource. PUTT is another corporation, or not corporation, but community group that's functioning to make pharmacy benefit managers more transparent. The real issue is the reimbursements on medications that we're seeing. People's medications are being reimbursed well under the cost of what it is to actually bring that medicine into a pharmacy. And that's what's putting these pharmacies out of business. It's plain and simple. Like, they're just not paying what they need to be paying to keep pharmacies functioning.
Well, again, I think right now, especially, there's a big push to support local businesses. And I think sometimes we forget about our local prescription, our local pharmacies. So thank you to you and your family. We wish you the best of luck. There is the websites to get more information. We'll make sure they get to our website as well. Basil, thank you so much for your time. Keep us updated, okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much.